will fire him. Now, they might give him a golden handshake. They might give, but he's got no union protection. I mean, what do these people want? Where does this end? We have forgotten the basics of not only how money is created, but how people are supposed to interact in the workplace. There's boards of ethics, there's rules of engagement, there's, you run down this long list as if people are morons and they don't know, where their responsibility ends and where somebody else's pick up. And on one hand, you can't get them to anything, and on the other side of the coin, you can't get them to quit interfering. And that's what makes me crazy about all this, is the total lack of common sense in this. I don't need to have somebody making $15 an hour or $20 an hour sitting on the board of a multi-million-dollar or multi-billion-dollar corporation telling them how to do things, because he can barely keep his own job, never mind do somebody else's job.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head perfectly well, Nick, when you use the term Marxism. What this reminds me of is the stories in the old Soviet Union. And when I say in the old Soviet Union, I'm talking about World War II, pre-World War II, and immediately after World War II, when the armed forces, every unit in the armed forces had their commanders, and they had co-equal with their military commander, they had their commissar. And the commissar, the political commissar, was there to look after the interests of the proletariat, okay? And he or she was vetted and approved by, whatever the local committee was, etc. So, this is, people talk about public health care versus private health care. People talk about lots of things being socialist. This proposal is 100% socialist. There's no other. This is the most socialist proposal that I've come across, by a mainstream political party, other than perhaps the NDP. And even the NDP doesn't really propose this kind of thing. The NDP is all about, with all due respect, envy. I'm listening to their ads. I was listening to some of their radio ads and internet ads earlier today. I was watching, and they have people talking about how I'm going to vote NDP because it's about time that the ultra rich pay their fair share so that we can have health care for everybody. And it's pure envy. That's what it is. It's pure envy. Okay, it's a terrible trait, and but it's promoted and it's part of the psyche, etc. But for sure it's socialist. But what the conservatives are proposing here with this particular piece of legislation, if they're elected, this is more socialist than anything that the NDP has proposed. Now, I don't know, Nick. I'm not in the room. So maybe the conservatives have said our strategy is to out-liberal the liberals, to flank the Liberal Party on the left. And, we'll get into this maybe in the second segment, but who are we to say that it's not working? Because apparently it appears as of today, as of right now, that the conservatives and the liberals are essentially tied. They're statistically tied in the national polls, at least a few of them. I haven't seen all of them, okay? So, I don't know. Maybe it's working for them. I can't say. But I can say this. Who else in North America has proposed interfering with private corporations who are regulated by the state to impose on them a particular membership for the board of directors? And the answer to that is, are you ready?
Well,
only other jurisdiction in North America, California.
Why am I not surprised?
California, the most left-wing militantly left-wing government in the entire United States has proposed, Governor Newsom down there proposed, I think actually as of January 1st, 2022, that state-regulated corporations now have to have female representation on their boards. Which I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not against that. Great. What I'm against is the notion that you're going to mandate it.
Well, look, both you and I agree, at least I think we do, that it doesn't matter the gender as long as the qualifications are there.
Right.
So, male or female, who cares? Let the board decide who they want on their board of governors.
And it's not just that, Nick. It's if they want to have an all guys club, a men's club board of directors, who am I to tell them that they can't do that with their own corporation? Same thing. Why not have an all female board of directors?
Don't give them any ideas.
I don't get it, Nick.
And this is what's so frustrating because, look, first of all, you couldn't have an all-male board, an all-boys club, because somebody would come scream discrimination and tear the door off and make you put in women's washrooms. And it's like the women can have health clubs, but guys can't have a gym dedicated to guys because women come along and say, that's not fair, you're not letting us in. Or they can't have a smoking club, or they can't have a men's club where guys just get to hang out and be guys and not worry about every word they say being taken out of context. You know, it's just there's this. You hinted during a pre-production show or conversation, we were talking about clear double standards between male teachers and female teachers. Well, it's not just limited to teachers; it's across society, where there's a clear double standard. And we'll get into this later on in the show in more depth. But there's a clear double standard, and you can't have what you just suggested because somebody's going to come along pounding on the door demanding entrance. And it's not, if guys wanted to have a club of their own, it's no different than when we were kids and we used to have tree forts and no girls allowed. You know, just because that's just little boys and the way they behave. And if you want to say, well, this is just a big version of that, okay, so what?
Well, this is my point exactly. It's, I wouldn't have that rule. I don't care. And I suspect that most people don't care either. But if you happen to have money and you happen to have your own corporation regulated by the state or not, it's your money. Do with it what you want. I don't care. You want to have a rule that only males can be on the board of directors? I don't care. And I don't know why the government should be interfering. And for the life of me, I just cannot wrap my mind around a conservative party taking this on as well, not in gender, but with respect to workers' representation on the board of directors. Listen, Nick, we're over time a little bit. We're just going to go for a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in a few minutes here on the Nick and Joe Show on the Think Radio Broadcast Network. And you are listening to the Nick and Joe Show on the Think Radio Broadcast Network. And we are just, Nick is breathing fire. He's breathing so much fire, I had to remind him on a few occasions already this evening to just calm down because his mic has just been too hot. So hot that there was a lot of distortion earlier on, and I had to get him to sit about 10 or 15 feet back from his microphone. Now, in fairness, I'm not there, so I don't know that he's actually done that, or maybe he's he's just taken some Valium or something like that, and massaged his temples, and he's now in that place. He's totally zen, and ready to resume battle. That's it. You got it, Nick. You better be careful there, Nick. Somebody's going to hear that, and they're going to file a human rights complaint against you there. So I don't know. Let's Nick.
What did I do? I just was in my zen place.
You were in your zen place. Okay, we're going to go to the phones. We've got Lyle on line 1. Lyle, you're there.
Yes, I'm here.
Good. What's on your mind tonight, Lyle?
Yeah. Well, I'm here to file a human rights complaint against Nick for going all zen on you guys.
Now, is Zen? Is Zen?
Okay, no, seriously. I actually have something interesting to talk about.
Okay, I'll let you go ahead.
So I was reading a couple of reports earlier today, and they were saying that the electoral debate has to have people who are going to be debating in it to be double vaccinated, and also Max Bernier is nationally polling right now at 6.6%, and I think if I'm not mistaken, the starting point for people to be included in the debate is if they're polling at 4%. So I'm just wondering what you guys think about Mad Max being included in the electoral debate, and what do you guys think about the requirement for debatees to be double vaccinated?
I actually hadn't heard that, so that's news to me. I do know that Max was excluded from the debate, which is unfortunate. I think that I don't know what his polling numbers are, Lyle, so I take it for granted that the numbers that you have cited are actually accurate, and if they are, that's pretty significant. That is easily in Green Party territory. So I don't know why the leader of the Green Party would be included, but the leader of the People's Party would not be included. I actually think that Max Bernier should be included in the debates. He's a national figure. He has a national political party that's running candidates. I believe they're once it's all said and done, they're going to have candidates in every riding across the country, if not most of them. Sorry, most of them, if not all of them. And the other thing is this. I mean, I guess what I find the most fascinating thing about this, or perhaps the most disturbing, is that the Bloc Québécois, and I don't have anything against the BQ. We live in a democracy, and if the people in Quebec want to elect a governor or elect politicians that are going to, narrowly speaking, fight for their own particular interests in Parliament, all the power to them. I don't care. What I find most disturbing, though, is that the Bloc Québécois, that nationally can't be polling a whole lot more than what the People's Party is under Bernier, and they get a seat not just in the French language debate, but in the English language debate, and that I find that really hard to reconcile. Sometimes they just do things in the political circles in this country, and I don't think we're that different from other countries in this respect, perhaps, that are just so, I don't know, so nonsensical. Nick, you have something to say there, Nick?
Yeah, basically, when it comes to Mad Max, he actually, because between you and me and the fence post, I don't think he stands much of a chance of electing anybody. Maybe he'll get elected, but that's going to be about it. It's very rare for new parties like that, and Joseph, you know this better than I do, to elect more than one, if they get one on their first kick at the can. It's going to impact the Conservatives, of course, because it'll draw votes away from the Tories. But he does play a very important role, and that is he plays the role of the guy with nothing to lose. so he can get up there and ask questions